Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from The Gay Guy Plays, and today on the rundown, it's all about the sparkles when we revisit our one and only fairy king, Oberon. So it's been quite a while since the last time I dusted off our hooved hero, and since then he's received some fairly major mechanical changes. Now on his release he was touted to be the paladin frame, with both defensive and offensive abilities that work to keep him and his teammates safe. While he did fall a bit short on his initial launch, I must say that the sequel is truly the return of the king. Now, you can pick up his blueprint in the market for 25,000 credits. However, Oberon's components are some of the most difficult to farm up, as his drops are extremely rare and can only be... I'm sorry, legitimately, his components are a piece of cake to pick up, as they randomly drop off of any Eximus anywhere. While his parts aren't tradable, anyone who's played through the star chart at least once should have like 10 copies of him? Okay, maybe that's a bit hyperbolic, but it's not too far off from the truth. Now, if for some reason you feel the need, you can always pick him up in the market, pre-built along with a weapon slot and a catalyst. Yes, I'm still continuing that troll, for 325 plat. Seriously though, don't do it. At this point I could make over 100 of him. Alrighty, now it's time to unleash the Fae. Oberon's first ability, Smite, launches a spiraling fairy spear at his target, knocking them down, inflicting them with the radiation status, and dealing a 50-50 combination of impact and radiation damage. After the initial impact, the spear shatters, launching magical shrapnel that seeks out nearby enemies, inflicting pure radiation damage, debuffing their damage output by 30% with a guaranteed puncture proc, and it's also got a chance to inflict the radiation status as well. If there are no nearby enemies, projectiles have a chance to lock onto additional targets that wander into range, or may even circle back and strike the original target. Now honestly, I think this is an awesome tool for engaging a group of enemies at range. The radiation proc will momentarily divert their attention, and the puncture proc will make it a tad bit easier to mitigate any incoming damage while you begin your assault. At close range, this is a great way to get a priority target on their back, so you can get on top of them and deliver the finishing blow. His next ability is Hallowed Ground. Oberon rolls out a carpet of fairy fire that deals radiation damage to enemies every 0.5 seconds, and at max rank grants him and all other allies who stand on it a 20% boost to their armor. It also removes all current status effects and makes them immune to status procs and knockdowns. Note that while this will prevent the magnetic proc, all other energy drains are not considered status effects. Now, this is awesome, especially against the Grineer's incessant slash procs and the Infested's toxin and magnetic procs. However, the carpet itself isn't really the most reliable way to deal damage, as most factions, aside from the Infested, will be engaging you at range. While it's not the shining star in his kit, it is a great defensive tool to have in your back pocket. Oberon's third ability, Renewal, is definitely one of the most complicated to explain, so bear with me. Oberon manifests several wisps that seek out his allies. Upon contact, they are granted a small heal and begin to regenerate health for a short time. All allies that are fully healed will be cured of any existing status effects. In addition, any downed allies will have their bleed out timer slowed. Now, this is a toggle ability which does have an initial casting cost and continues to consume energy for each ally you're maintaining it on. If you or any ally that you are currently maintaining Renewal on is fully healed, it will cease the heal over time effect and reduce the drain on your energy. Keep in mind that while this does have a maximum duration, this is a toggleable ability and you can cancel its effects early if need be. Now, there are a few things to note with this ability. First and foremost, while the Wisps will seek out teammates anywhere on the entire tileset, they do have a flight time and may take a while to reach their target. So just be aware of that, as you may want to cast this proactively instead of reactively. Also, keep in mind that if the initial burst fully heals you or your targets, they will not gain the benefit of the heal over time, which may be needed if they are under constant fire. So you may want to cast this reactively instead of proactively. Honestly, it's up to you. Oberon's fourth and final ability is Reckoning. Oberon envelops all surrounding enemies in fairy magic, lifting them into the air before smashing them into the ground, knocking them down, dealing radiation damage, and inflicting the radiation status. If an enemy is slain by the impact, they have a 50% chance to drop a health orb. However, if they manage to survive, they will emit a flash of light that will blind any enemies that weren't originally affected by Reckoning. Honestly, I think it's an amazing ability for engaging a large squad of enemies. First and foremost, you'll thin the crowd down with the initial damage. Anything that dies has a chance to spawn supplemental health in case the rest of the engagement goes south. Next, the radiation will confuse your remaining targets and blind any enemies who are late to the party, preventing them from focusing you down. While this isn't the top tier for crowd control or damage abilities, it's an interesting mix of both. Now, as with most ultimates, the damage portion won't hold up too well in late game. However, the confusion and blind mechanic do provide a marginal amount of control. So all in all, the changes have made Oberon much more playable as compared to his previous incarnation. The damage in his kit will see him through most of the star chart, while the defensive capabilities will allow him to transition into late game. However, his relevance in endgame missions has yet to be seen. Frankly, Oberon is a jack of all trades, with equal parts damage, control, and defense. He proves to be quite flexible, and in most cases, flexibility is good. The only issue here is, this jack isn't a master of anything. His damage peters off into late game, his crowd control is short-lived, his heal over time is almost literally hit or miss, with his only endgame speciality being the fact that he can make allies immune to status. Regardless, I must say that I've found him extremely fun to play. His abilities are flashy and have great synergy with each other. He's got decent base stats which make him survivable, but not survivable to the point that he's boring to play. So, while he remains the uncontested king of the fairies, Oberon proves that sometimes being jacked isn't always a good thing. So thank you all for watching another episode of The Rundown. Be sure to check out the previous episode I did on Vault, and if you're interested in a little bit of style, check out my quick draw on the current set of Syndicate Sciendanas. Now don't forget to do all the things I asked you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay tuned for more from your own personal fairy god Tenno, here at A Gay Guy Plays. Okay, so real talk. This is gonna make me sound super gay, but the only reason I did this review is because I saw someone using this energy color and I thought, God, it's so fucking pretty. I really need to start playing him again.